And Erin has two major roles that I'm aware of, probably more than that. She seems like quite the amazing juggler of all things. So I'm really eager to hear how you balance all this. Okay, so first of all, I'll let you kind of introduce yourself and then talk about Des Moines Parent magazine and then your Midwest mom and wife.
Okay. So my name is Erin Huiatt. I own Des Moines Parent, which originally started as an online resource. Just gave events, activities, reviews, all sorts of things for family and children and parents to know what was going on in the Des Moines area. And then it quickly grew, and now it's a monthly magazine. You can find different spots in Des Moines. And then I also own Midwest Mom and Wife, which is my postpartum doula business. So I support women after birth, emotionally and physically. And then I also, help them prepare for the postpartum period when they're pregnant. So I have like a workbook and things like that to help them, think about different situations or planning for that time.
And I wish I had met Erin 3.5 years ago, because that would have very much prepared me, I think, for some of the postpartum stuff that I dealt with that I was just not ready for. Right. I think what you do is awesome. And, as I was kind of putting out feelers for founding moms and seeing if there's even an interest here in Des Moines, everyone's like, you need to talk to Erin. So Erin's very gracious to do an interview with me because I am just getting started here in Des Moines, and she's very established. And so thank you for your time. And she was especially gracious to meet with me for coffee. And my daughter had a major blowout, and I didn't have clothes. I didn't have clothes. I mean, here I'm like, oh, I got this. And I go to change her, and I just put on an old, my son's t-shirt. So, but Erin was very gracious throughout all that. So anyway, she's a very gracious person. And so thank you for taking this time. So what inspired you? I'm going to focus, since you do both, I'm going to focus on the Des Moines Parent magazine, since I know that serves the bigger community, as do the your postpartum doula and what you're doing. So feel free to tie it into the questions. Okay. But I'm just curious for the Des Moines Parent magazine, what inspired you to take that on? And
so Des Moines Parent actually fell into my lap. Originally, Midwest Mom and Wife was a blog, which was supposed to be what Des Moines Parent is today. I had quit my job, and I decided to stay home, and I was just going to start blogging my adventures with the kids. And so I had done that on Midwest Mom and Wife, and the original owner of Des Moines Parent at the time, I had done a few posts for him for the website, and he came to me and he's like, I don't have time to take this on. It was pretty well known. It didn't have a huge following, but it was known, and with the logo, and people knew what it was. And I was like, yeah, I want that. This is what I wanted to do. So I took it over, and I kind of just ran with it, and it was just all online. And then it's actually been about a year here in March. Big Green Umbrella Media came to me with the idea of doing this as a publication. And I had never even thought of it because, it's an online resource, a blog. And so we kind of worked together. And so now some of the content you see online is in the magazine also. And there's some different between the two, but that's kind of how that came about. So yeah, it's just a great resource for families. So.
Definitely. Okay, and then as far as becoming a certified postpartum doula, what inspired you to do that?
When I had my son, I didn't know anything about doulas. I didn't know anything about any of that world. And then after I had him, I was pregnant with my daughter. I kind of learned, oh, you should get a doula. Oh, you should do this. Oh, you should do, it was kind of a newer thing. And it just I just was in the crowd. It was a circle of people I knew, and we're talking about these things. And I got really interested in it. I knew I didn't really want to be a birth doula. And I had researched it. It was just not something I wanted to do with being on call 24/7 and with having kids at home. It's just hard to do. So I had looked into postpartum doula, and that was at the time there was none of those around here. I was like, this isn't amazing. You support moms. I wish I had that. Someone come to your house. And so I kind of I researched it. I found someone that came from Michigan to come do a weekend training, and I kind of just really fell in love with it. And it kind of fit in with what I was doing with my parent, was making these connections, supporting, because when I'm with moms, they'll ask me I really want to get out, and I really want to go do to a story time or to a postpartum support group. And I have those resources. I'm already doing that research. I have that event calendar and stuff. So I'm able to use a little bit of both and connect families with those things. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome synergy there. That's awesome. Okay, so what's a risk you had to overcome I'm going to focus on the postpartum doula piece.
Okay.
What is a risk, since I know you kind of said the Des Moines Parent magazine feels like that fell in your lap, but you're the one who's really grown it. So let's focus on your postpartum doula business. Yeah. What is a risk you had to overcome to start that?
Well, actually, I'm going to take, because I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
So I worked as a veterinary technician for 7 years. Uh-huh. And so after I had my son, I'm going to take it a little bit further back. Yeah. After I had my son, I was kind of just not happy with what I was doing there. It was just like I was going there every day, not happy. Yeah. And then when I got pregnant with my daughter, my husband and I made the decision that after we had her, I was going to stay home. I was going to do my own thing. And at that time, I was reading blogs. Like, I was reading all these amazing people, like, making money doing, like, things they love, like running and, like, I'm like, how are these people making this money, like, living off of this? And so when I decided to quit my job, that's when I started blogging and stuff. And so and it was very hard for me because, like, like,
from the known to the
unknown, definitely. And it was completely opposite of what I wanted to do. Like, I was, like, loved animals and wanted to do all these things, but this was, like, just a whole nother, your mind changes. Like, when you become a mom, your priorities just completely change. So that's kind of how, that was a huge risk. So that was probably the biggest risk that taken. But then after that, like, once I got into that in the blogging and I just kind of found myself. Like, I found, like, what I wanted to do. Like, so when I was started to do the research about the postpartum doula, that kind of just fueled me. I'm like, oh, this is really, like, and I could just feel like how this could really work together with what I was already doing. So it's just kind of a path that I just kept on going now. So I know it was a little bit different than answering your question.
No, hey, however you want to answer. You're the one who's being interviewed. So that is a perfect segue into the next question, which is all about creative habits, because as we've talked about, I have found that plugging into your creative gifts is a very refueling process. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times when you become a mom, your time just looks different. Yeah. And it's very easy to just, let the days kind of pile up with all the to-dos of just the daily living, never mind the intentionality of doing something creative. And yet there is so much to be said about doing that. So, I mean, I'm hearing you say you kind of found yourself again, doing this blog, everything like that. What is a creative habit that has helped you stay true to the blog and helped you refuel as a mom? And maybe you kind of already answered that in a way, but
yeah. I don't know, like, continuing to do, like, setting that time to myself. I'm very blessed. My husband has a very flexible, different schedule than the normal 9 to 5. So, he's home a couple of days a week. And so when he's home during the day, I'm able to take that time for myself to just really plug in and, have meetings with people that I want to meet with and make those connections and stuff. So I think allowing myself to get out there and, like, doing that's what fuels me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Interviewing you guys feels me. So thank you. I'm getting fueled up for the nightly bedtime. Actually, my kids might already be asleep by the time I get home. So anyway, but okay. So this next question is one of my favorites because it's really, again, what I want to help a group of women focus on with founding moms is how do you balance motherhood and running a business? So running 2 businesses, really.
Yeah. There, like Dr. Jen said, there's not really much. It's hard. I have a lot of, like, we call systems. Like, because I wear so many hats, and I'm on the board for a couple of committees and stuff. I do social media and for other places, and I have to set myself, like, Mondays I'm doing social media. Like, so my mind is all social media. I find, like, and it took me a while to figure that out. Like, if I was, like, doing emails and doing social media, then writing a blog post, then doing, like, I just was not in it for each thing. So I had to really set myself, like, this day I'm going to schedule social media. This day I'm going to go do this activity or whatever and do, so I can get stuff for the blog post or whatever. And I have to set those days so my mind focuses on that specific topic or thing that I need to do. So that's kind of how
so
I balance that. And then, and because I don't have an actual location where I go, so I can't leave home and go to, like, my job. I have an office in our house, which makes it harder because I have a 3-year-old who, she comes in and stuff like that. So it does overlap, and I just learned you just can't be hard on yourself. you know, when it comes to that. Like some days it's a really like intense day where I'm like doing a lot of work and I may have, you know, I felt like I ignored them more than, you know, but then I feel like the next day, you know, if I can notice that, then I, you know, I make it up, you know, it's just a balance.
It is, yeah.
You know, some days are better than others.
So would you say, since I am trying to design a space, a nonprofit co-working space with childcare, and my idea is very quality childcare where they're equally in a creative and collaborative space as you are as a mom entrepreneur, is that a space that you can see yourself using on, you know, let's say it's that day where you know you've got a few deadlines coming up the next week, and you know you could have 4 hours of dedicated time.
And I think we talked about this when we met for coffee, like, and I've had this discussion with my husband, like, he'll be like, oh, well, you had 4 hours to work. Well, meanwhile, my daughter's coming in like every 15 minutes. And like, that's not good quality time.
I'm just going to give you guys a brief little, so I did a presentation with the University of Iowa last night. I was just trying to share this vision for Creative Habitat. And just on this note, while we're talking about it, I played this on my way up to the podium. Let me just find my little video here to give them an idea of what we as working moms. So this is kind of our background noise sometimes, and it's beautiful. Motherhood is beautiful, but there is something to be said about focus, so you can be in the moment, so that then when you pick them up at the end of those 4 hours,
you feel like you've accomplished something.
You feel like you've accomplished something, and then you're focused on that time with them. Right. So I think that that's really the goal with Creative Habitat, and I am eager to hear anyone's feedback on what they would like to see in that space, because I am dedicated to making it happen. So,
yes, definitely.
So anyway, thank you for, it's just an example, what you just pointed out to me. I just am curious. That is a space.
Yes, definitely. I would.
Okay.
I'd be there.
Working on it.
I'd be there.
Okay, so the final question, an amazing person or group of people you've met as a result of pursuing these interests and, working on the magazine and your doula.
So I belong to Fem City, which is another networking, and so that I'm very grateful for. I've met some amazing connections with people. I'm a big believer in like thinking outside of the box. And whenever I talk to people, I'm always like someone you wouldn't even think that you would like, why would I go to, I'm trying to think of someone off the top of it, but something like you wouldn't even think that you would have anything related or anything to talk about. It's so crazy. Like I'll sit down with someone and then like we make a connection, like, oh, that is such a great idea. Or you get a great idea from someone, you know, that will benefit your business and that helps them too. It's just those type of networking groups. And with networking groups, it's very hard. There's a lot of them and you have to find the ones that are, and so find the ones that are really going to fit your life, you know, what you're looking for. And so I think I found that with Fem City, and I'm excited for Founding Moms because I think it's going to be another great outlet also to make connections and learn from other moms.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm going to open this up to everyone here, and I know I can't turn the screen to everybody, but what would you guys like to see in an ideal community that supports your entrepreneurial side, but also your motherhood side? And so I guess that's a very broad question. So however you take that, what would help you in your stage of life right now?
Are you asking me specifically?
No. You don't have to be in the hot seat. Anybody. I won't look at you.
I think conversations, like having this conversation, that's why I haven't left yet. Because it's interesting, because it's kind of like we've been through the same struggles. And knowing that I could have relied on like a life coach or mentorship, you know, so you just learn things. Like today I'm gonna Google Fem Speak.
Yeah.
You know, those are some of the things. So just having a space where we can also just talk.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of moms don't realize that other moms are dealing with the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's getting a lot better. But I think a lot of moms put on this, you know, like, oh, I got it. I can do this, this, and this, and this. And but then when you like get into an intimate setting like this, you're able to let it out and you make connections. Like, oh, this mom is dealing with the exact same thing that I'm dealing with. Like, so you don't feel so like I'm so lonely and
I mean,
isolated.
Can I just point out the two of you, very accomplished professional women who really seem to have your ducks in a row, and even the two of you have said balance is hard, you know? So I feel like there is an authentic kind of like sisterhood, if you will, when you really try to share that intertwining of, okay, yes, there's this mission in my soul that I've got to pursue, you know, chiropractic work, you know, your writing and the doula work, and that's a big piece of who you are, right? and it's what you have to offer the community, but and picture your life without that, right? Because parenthood could be, motherhood could be 100%, and it is, it's a full-time job no matter what, but that's where that community of support comes in, I think. And so I've been encouraged to hear the two of you even say that, yeah, you struggle with some of the same things that I struggle with, you know, it's not just me, like, why can't I get my you know, ducks in a row? I'm a pretty organized person. I still feel like I can't get my ducks in a row, right? Sometimes. So that's just honesty. But yeah, so that's good to know. So authentic communication. I know you need to say it. So, and respect your time and respect everyone's time, because we are moms and our time is valuable. That's another thing I want to point out. Like when you become a mom, time just looks different. And I think you value time in a whole new way. So any other feedback from you guys, or anything that you've been wishing there was? Because we can kind of design this group to meet the needs of those who are participating, and it can just become what it needs to become. So
I've been meaning to look to network with more people. I've been wanting to join Fem City. I just haven't. But I just want to join groups that not only I can network with, but like how we can help each other. You know, like being a photography business owner, I do everything. I'm an accountant, I'm a social media manager, all this stuff. So even if I could find somebody to like outsource some of this stuff for me, that would be great too.
Yeah. And Fem City is a really good, I think, connection for that. I mean, there's a lot of them, but yeah, I think that is something I definitely want to tie in as well. And the goal is to really, the goal would be to focus on mom-owned businesses through Founding Moms at least, but in all different areas, you know. So you're the first chiropractor I've interviewed, and you're the first person who's been a doula and runs a magazine, you know. So there's a whole array of people. So send me, I guess, if you want an accountant or someone who can talk to people and try to find someone, and specifically a mom, like I said, because my focus is on helping us learn from each other on both paths, motherhood and entrepreneurship. So,
and I think like specifically within the getting together and meetings, like really touching points on both aspects, because I think when you do get into a networking situation where you're in business mode, you may have those conversations peppered about parenting, or you might have a little anecdotal story, but to focus on, here's our business, and, you know, maybe the specific networking, but then here's motherhood too, so that we're really finding that conversation of where it's not just so much networking business to business, but that we're not completely forgetting about our businesses and focusing so much on moms, but just kind of intertwining that. And I think the meaningful connections statement is huge, because I think then that develops more of a supportive, not that networking groups aren't supportive, but just that supportive atmosphere amongst everybody we're on the same path. You know, we all understand that video, you know, or the fact that maybe our ducks aren't in a row. Maybe our ducks aren't even in the same pond at this point during the day. So we're like, they're everywhere. Which sometimes what I feel like as well. But
a lot of people don't really completely understand what it's like to be a mompreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, and then when you're a solo, like when you're the solo person, what it is like to where you have to separate those times and say, I have to do my accounting, I have to pay the bills, I have to do this, I have to do the marketing, where you're not actually doing your craft or doing your job.
The actual amount of photography work I do is like this much. Business is like how much.
And I've learned, like, you don't have to do it all. Like, and I liked how you mentioned like making connections with people who could help you in the account. Like, I've learned that too. Like, delegating is like it just and that helps with balance. Like, at some point you get you take on too much, and you just have to learn, like, you have to delegate some stuff. Like, you know, whether it is social media or what, like, you know, putting events in an event calendar when you know what I mean, like things like simple tasks like that, like that take so much time, that are simple, but it's like taking you away from things that are gonna like make you succeed further. So,
well, and I think another thing I hope for this group is that it will really promote you know, the authenticity and the that didn't come out right, but you guys know, you know,
Authenticity.
authenticity. Thank you. And just the amazing work that women are doing on both fronts, the work front and the home front. You know, I think that a lot of times mom entrepreneurs aren't always taken as seriously as they should be, and it's a passion point for me, and that's why I really want to highlight women entrepreneurs and who are also, you know, focused on the home front too, because those are the two heart projects, right? Your vision for your business, your vision for your kids, and honestly, I think we both love. There is an equal love there. It's almost like your business is for me, my third child, right? I mean, yes, I love my children more. If I had to make a sacrifice, it would be here, but there is a way to have a love and a support for both, I think. And that's where I'm still learning to learn from you guys. So stay tuned, everybody. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you for your feedback. More to come, and have a lovely evening.